Hello, thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Sean. Welcome to part 2 of this beautiful Gibson R9. Repair is done. We put the original potentiometers, etc. in, and today we're going to set it up and change the strings, and we're going to polish the frets and stuff. So again, I apologize for the sniffles. I did confirm with the owner, my buddy Dale, that this is a 2001, and they only made 500 of these in 2001. That is so cool. Gorgeous guitar, gorgeous guitar. So what I want to do first is get these old strings off, and then we're gonna make sure the neck is flat, and we'll go ahead and put new strings on it and tune it up, set the intonation after we polish the frets and hydrate this fretboard. So first things first here, I'm going to loosen these strings, and I'm going to cut them all off. And he is going with strings, this Diodario, I think they're 10s. Yeah, going to be nice. Okay. Yeah, 10 to 46. But this, man, I'll tell you what, the finish on this guitar is just something else. I'll clean it up some when we get the strings off too. And I think this thing's going to play fantastically. We'll go ahead and get a reading on the pickups too, just out of curiosity. All right, there we go. Let me cut these strings off. Okay, so strings are off. This has a lightweight tailpiece. I believe it's aluminum. And I think it's an ABR1 bridge, if I'm not mistaken. It's the Kalamazoo style. So the posts go directly into the wood. And yeah, so all right, we're just going to take those off for now, because we're going to completely set this up and get it playing great for him. The first thing I think that we'll need to do here is check the neck and see how straight it is. This should be a 12-inch radius. Let's just make sure it is. I thought so. And I know it is 24 3/4 inch scale. Okay, so the neck needs a little adjustment, which I thought it probably did just by the feel. I want it to be completely flat before we put the strings on it. Get you up here so you can see. It doesn't look like anyone's been in here in a while, if at all. That's a weird shape. All right, let me get my Gibson tool here. But that nut is misshapen. I don't know why. So I'm hoping this is going to go on. Yeah, it is. Okay, good. So what we want to do here is we want to go to the right. We want to tighten it a little because it has a little too much relief. Oh, it's moving perfectly. So that's what I want. See where we're at now. Almost there. Almost there. All right, hang on. I'm going to give it another quarter twist. Okay, so we got the neck nice and flat. I'm just going to put a fret rocker on it real quick. Make sure we don't have any high frets. It doesn't look like there's any issues. Frets are in good shape. There's a couple little divots, but nothing that's going to affect playability. And honestly, little tiny rock right there. Come back to it. Might have to just tap that in. Hang on, I'm going to check the rest of these. Okay, so they're all perfect except this one is just a little high. I just think it needs to be seated a little by the looks of it. I'm going to tap it with this rubber mallet. And that will probably take care of it. Almost. I don't think it needs to be filed. It just seemed like it was popped up just a little, and the weather can do that. Ooh, almost. A couple more. There we go. All right, I'll take that. Just got to be real gentle with these, and that'll usually take care of it. So let's get ready to polish. So by this time, I think you guys know the drill. First thing I'm going to do is cover these pickups with tape because I don't want to get any filings in there. Just use this painter's tape. It won't hurt finishes. It won't hurt it comes right back off easily. But it also does a fantastic job of keeping any kind of metal filings out of the pickups or off the pickups. Either way. And all I'm going to do is hit this with some 4/0 steel wool, which I think does a great job. And not only does it make them shine nicely, it really makes it play well, especially for your bends. And after that, we will hydrate this fretboard, throw strings on it, and set the action and the intonation. So, I know you've seen me do this. Just going to use this fret guard. Take this little bit of steel wool. It doesn't take much. Let's go through and polish that fret. And I mean, you can see the difference. I hope that it'll show up on the camera. I mean, just the difference in this one versus that one. Just that quick. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to polish all these, and then we'll hydrate. Okay, all polished. First thing I do is take this vacuum, and I vacuum the fretboard and around the bench to make sure that I get all the filings up, and then I'll untape the pickups. If you have headphones on, this might be a little loud. Make sure we're in good shape and we don't have to worry about any filings getting on the pickups. I'm going to go ahead and, you know what, I'm going to clean this headstock and wipe. I'm going to wipe this whole guitar down, and then I'm going to actually, I'm going to wipe the headstock first. I'm going to put the truss rod cover back on. I don't see that we'll have to get back in there. If we do, it's no big deal. But let me get some of this wonderful Dunlop Formula 65 polish and cleaner. Clean the headstock first. So this is Dale's guitar, and Dale's the one who got me this Dunlop cleaner and fretboard hydration kit. Got me hooked on the Dunlop stuff. Thank you, Dale. Thanks for letting me work on this beautiful guitar too. But I'm going to go ahead and put this on now, and that way it's easier to get this on with the strings off. Not that we can't do it, but since I don't think we'll need to get back in there. Whoops. I'd rather do it this way. And then we'll hydrate this board, and while that absorbs the oil, we'll wipe down the body and stuff. All right, that's good. All right, Dunlop 65 lemon oil. Not affiliated, although I'd like to be. This stuff just works great and it smells fantastic. And all I do is just get it all over the fretboard. I use this with all rosewood and ebony fretboards. You don't need to do it with maple. Maple you just need to clean. It's not going to absorb into the maple. It's a harder wood, denser grain. And then let's let it sit for a little while. It'll absorb what it needs and we'll wipe off the excess. It's not overly dry though. My guess is we won't need to let it sit for too long. So anyway, let me finish getting this and we'll wipe everything down. All right, so I wiped it down, cleaned it just a little. Man, this thing just came up to a beautiful shine, and I barely did anything to it. And there was some gunk on the that had built up, some residue on the pickguard. I was able to get most all that off. Some patina on the pickups. That's just how it is. It looks good like that. And man, that board is going to look great. So we'll go ahead and I think we can go ahead and wipe that off now. And as I said, just let it sit for a little while, and it looks like it's absorbed everything. It wasn't that dry though. It looked pretty good. But this is going to make it look fantastic and feel good too. I generally do this about once a year to all my guitars with with rosewood or ebony fretboards. You may need to do it more or less depending on where you live and what the climate is inside your house. Look at that. Gorgeous. I'm in love with this guitar. Dale, you're not getting it back. All right, I'll probably give it back. So I'm going to go ahead before I do anything here and put a little bit of graphite in the nut. And all I do is use a mechanical pencil, put a tiny bit in. Doesn't take much. It's not even necessarily needed, but it does help with tuning stability some. Especially if you have some kind of a trim. There's no trim obviously on this, but I like a little bit of graphite in there myself. Just seems to be a good policy to keep. Graphite in the nut. All right, so we're going to put these strings on, and then we'll set it up. Okay, and I believe I've said it before. When I work on a Gibson or Gibson style guitar, I always put the two E strings on first, and just get them tight so that the tailpiece doesn't slide down and mar the finish at all. All right, I'm going to stick the rest of these strings on now. Okay, so the strings are on. I stretched them. I did a just kind of eyed it up, and it seems like the action set pretty well. And so I went ahead and measured it, and I think I got it just about where it should be. Let me get it in tune here again, and let's see if our intonation, how good that is. I also eyed that up a little, but it's hard to eye up intonation. But knowing Dale, it was probably set up well anyway, so I doubt it's too off. All right, so let's check this intonation. Get it back in tune. I did stretch the strings, but they'll still. Right on. That one is a little off our A string. We're going to have to probably fix that. D is perfect. G is perfect. B is perfect. E is perfect. So A string is a little, just a tiny bit flat. So we're going to move it this way, and not much to it. In this instance, we use a flathead screwdriver. All I'm going to do is, it's within a cent. It probably wouldn't even, I doubt anyone would even notice, but because I can do it and get it right, I'm going to. Oh, almost it. Hang on here. Let me get the screwdriver in there better. All right, so I loosened the string. It is so close. I thought I could do it with the string tension on, but I couldn't. So let me go ahead and tune her and see how close I am. Almost. Let's do it one more time. I think that'll do it. So close. All right, hang on. I'm gonna get it now. Okay, we're almost exactly there. Just a little tweak here. I think we'll have it. There we go. Get it back in tune. I'm going to tweak it just a tiny bit more. Perfect. Right on it. All right. So I have this action nice and low. Get it all in tune. It's really low, as a matter of fact. So the only thing left to do is to do a playthrough, which will be the next episode. But until then, just see how this thing sounds unplugged. Man, fantastic. Playing great, too. Okay. Thanks a whole lot for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Please like, subscribe, tell your friends. Listen to Rifle every day. Rock on. Ooh, love one another. See you on part 3.